What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be giving the Del Sol some love, installing some new brakes. We're going to do some USR EBC rotors, some EBC yellow stuff pads, as well as some Stop Tech brake lines, and we've also got some Motul 660 RBF brake fluid. Now it doesn't need that much, but it's if it's going to be used at the Dragon and stuff, and how it acted at the Dragon when it overcooked really bad. My brakes are not the best right now. I can smell it. I've got some overcooked brakes right now, I think.
Yeah, you need to slow the hell down. They're fucking. Oh, look at him right here.
It's definitely going to help out the car a lot. So I didn't make this video because I didn't have enough footage before, but I did actually get headers and motor mounts installed on the G. So basically now the G is at the power goals I want it to be at. It's making 360 wheel horsepower and 285 wheel torque, which is actually really good. With this being a 2008 when an earlier style motor, the headers on the early style VHRs are just trash. So anything 2012 and up gets much more smooth flowing headers. So they produce better power out of the box, especially with bolt-ons. But my car now makes 360 wheel and 285 torque. I'll also throw in a quick dyno video showing that, and that way you can see how that ran. It sounds amazing with the headers. So anyways, I got Michael and Jordan here today to help me. They were kind of, okay. Did you sit on the switch? Anyways, we also installed some fog lights on the Del Sol. Now there's some Sylvanias. They're not amazing. They were like $70, so they're not perfect, but they actually do brighten up a lot better than the factory headlights right now. So they'll do for whenever I take it down some dark back roads. Jordan, you're gonna break my shift linkage, bro. One problem is there is no switch on there. The switches I ordered off of Amazon do not work very well, so I got this one from AutoZone. We're gonna hook that up real quick, test it out just to make sure it works, and then if it does, we'll get started on the brakes. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So Michael actually helped me install this. He knows a lot about wiring and stuff. So what we did was we put in a fuse right here. We're gonna put that in. We've already hooked up the new button. Or the new switch.
That ground might be for the light on the switch, maybe. So.
Okay. So we're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna put a fuse in there. I'm really actually kind of scared. Well, they didn't come on, so it's good. Yeah. But it would still contact.
There. So that's it.
Oh, I'm slightly crooked. Sorry.
All right. So you want
So
to
now
flip
your switch. Sheesh.
They came on?
Yep.
No, they didn't. Really?
Nice.
How bright?
Not very.
As bright as they can be. I'm sure at night that's
Gonna look so much better. So there we go. Some functional fog lights for the Del Sol. Functional enough for now. Better than the nothing they came with. So we're gonna turn this off. Yeah, the light on the switch itself doesn't actually turn on, but we got this one, this round style, so we can just drill out a hole similar to the size of the circle itself and then clip it right in, and that way it's sitting in a spot and I can just flip it on and off when I need it. When we initially installed this, the switch wouldn't initially work, so we tried to just leave them kind of hooked together and put a fuse in it and just hook them together when I needed it, and I ended up blowing that fuse. It popped, put a massive spark in there, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, so I'm glad that works. We'll figure out how to mount that later on. Huh? We're gonna figure out how to mount that later on. For now, let's get started on taking the fronts off and put the front pads and rotors on and all that, get going with that. Another thing, so while the Del Sol's getting this stuff put on it now, it's actually not gonna go to the Dragon for our next trip. I'm actually working on getting some tires and pads and new two-piece rotors for the G so I can take it up there and we can have matching wheels, which I'm gonna run the white wheels because that's the matching set I have right now. We're gonna do 275, 35, 19s. It's gonna be a square setup. And that way the G is all prepared in order to make it up there, drive around, get beat on, and make it back. I also ordered some carbon fiber fenders for the G. So whenever those come in about 2 months, we'll see what those look like. So stay tuned for that. All right, so we're letting the fluid drip. We're letting the fluid drip out of this caliper right now. We've already got the old rotor and pad off, and as you can see, I actually have plenty of life on these rotors, or these pads. They just...
And rotors.
Yeah, and rotors, honestly. They were pretty new, I think, whenever I first got the car, but they definitely just cannot withstand my type of driving. That's why I decided to go ahead and replace them. These are, I guess, power stops maybe, because that's what the rotors remind me of. Power stops, which aren't bad for your typical daily driving, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend them if you're going to be hitting the dragon like we did. So here's the new USR EBC rotor. We're going to clean that off once we've got the line swapped over and get it all installed back on. Michael's starting on the other side for me, so we can kind of knock out 2 birds with 1 stone, or just 2 at the same time. I would recommend leaving that caliper on. Or I'm sorry, after you take the rotor and everything off, put the caliper back on, and that way whenever you brake...
I've already broke it loose.
Oh, is it dripping everywhere?
Well, I tightened it back on.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'll give you that once mine's almost fully done dripping, so might be good in a second. So I'll update you guys when we are getting the lines kind of tidied up, and when we get the new rotors and pads put on. All right, so we had to take a break and get some food because I was starving. And while we did that, we let the lines soak in some PB Blaster, but we've got the stainless steel brake lines installed. I'm guessing on the stock coilovers or stock struts is where this would bolt up. So instead we just zip tied it. This is how my factory lines were. They were zip tied around that. So that's held in place. This looks like it's how the factory ones are routed. So that seems like that's gonna be good. We've got the yellow stuffs with the quiet stuff on it. And that's basically ready to go. Hardware's in. It's all been silenced. So yeah, we're gonna get that bolted back up. Michael's working on his side. He's about finished too. Not sure if we're gonna tackle the rear today. Might wait till tomorrow, or just not do that for God knows when. But so far the fronts are looking like they're going kind of good. All right, guys, so here are the EBC USR rotors. They're strictly slotted. I believe the fronts are the only ones that are vented, whereas the rears, since the factory rears on this car are single piece, non-vented. Reason why I went with the slotted, I think that's how they only offer it. Also, I've always only been a fan of running slotteds. I've never really felt the need to run drilleds. There's always been a debate on what's better. I've heard a few horror stories of drilleds cracking under too much pressure, but it's never happened to me. I just always preferred slotted. Also, I feel like they look better. But these should provide a lot of stopping power, so we're gonna get those put on. Oh, it's scraped up on the bottom. Yeah. So after telling himself not to do it, he still decided to go ahead and go wide open throttle and blew off a clamp, and it definitely shattered that to pieces, building all that boost. We think it happened at just top end, or at redline just about, right? I don't think it was when you shifted. You think it's just from releasing all that pressure that it could have done that?
I don't even know at this point. And I've never, I mean, I had issues with this popping off, not this, but I think what it is a lot of the weight of this charge pipe being routed the way it is.
Yeah.
It's pulling it down, and then the fluttering of the turbo, and then just 24 pounds.
Just making it not happy sitting. So his charge pipe keeps popping off whenever he's using wide open throttle around top of the like at the very top of the RPMs. The reason why it came out here is because the rear calipers, to press them back in, you need a tool that actually rotates it while it's pressing it in, and I did not realize that. So this is taking a little bit longer. We've also been taking a lot of breaks because we're just not really adamant workers. But yeah, so we got the tool. We're gonna finish that up, and then we're gonna test drive the Del Sol, see how it feels slamming on the brakes. It's definitely gonna lock up, but I'm excited, so we'll see you back when we're at the house. So we got the front and rear pads and rotors on, as well as the stainless steel StopTech brake lines right there, routed around. So now we're gonna go ahead and start putting the Motul 660 in and get it bled. Make sure everything's tight and not leaking, and we should be able to go do a test drive.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
Holding. That's good. Holding. Yeah, so we think that the old fluid was starting to get rust in it from the calipers and all that, because there was brown stuff coming out. So we're flushing it with 600 brake fluid, then we're gonna put in the good stuff, the 660. Yeah. So that way we're not wasting all that good shit. All right. Holding. Update you guys. So we ended up, because we were flushing the car out with the 600 and we thought about it, the car is super light. It's not really going on any track runs. It's just gonna be mostly mountain runs, which will be like a couple rides up and down. So it's not gonna need super expensive fluid. We decided to just stick with the 600. Should be plenty of stopping power and help, you know, reduce temps enough, since it's not gonna be beat on like a track car. So that's fully bled. Michael said he's pleased with it, which I don't know what pleases Michael. So when we initially took it for a test drive, this is what the Sky looked like. Pretty scary. So we didn't get to test drive it and fully break it in. But after driving it for about 200 miles and doing normal driving, I decided to go ahead and bed them in, and now you're gonna see how well it stops. All right, so I'm about to meet Michael and Jordan, but yeah, so the Del Sol so far, stopping really well. Like, it's doing amazing, stopping when I need it to. The pedal feels very stiff. It's no longer squishy. It doesn't feel like I have to press it like 3/4 of the way just to get any kind of feeling out of it. So whenever Michael gets here, we're gonna take it for a quick ride. I think I'm gonna let him ride along, and I can get some video of it stopping maybe. But I'll catch back up to you guys as soon as they get here, and we'll see how that goes.
There's so much smoke. Jordan.
Oh shit!
All right, so obviously when I locked them up, I was pinning the brakes. So that's not gonna happen under normal braking or on the Dragon, because I'm not pinning them like I did there. That was just purely me doing it on purpose. But that one where it stopped normally, that was about 45 miles an hour to about 5, I think. So that's pretty good braking if you ask me. There is a spot that I want to check out on the passenger side, but we'll figure that out later. I am going to be gone for a little while. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think I should do next. I'm also looking at wrapping the Del Sol, so give me some color ideas in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.